Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's Cupid back with yet another YouTube video. You guys are probably wondering what the Skull Servants look like after, a couple more ban lists. I know I got a comment on my actual Tier 0 Skull Servant YouTube video. That was what would this look like under the new ban list. And, well, here's what I've come up with. So this is Punk Tier Skull Servants. Now, you're probably thinking, gosh dang it, Cupid, you're just a meta player, aren't you? Listen, we gotta do what we gotta do to make the Skull Servants viable. So, what does the Punk engine do in this deck, you may ask? Well, did you know that Punks are really good at making level 8 Synchros? And did you also know that Punks are really good at making rank 8 Exceeds? Well, our two main millers in our deck, Chaos Ruler is a level 8 Synchro, and the Exceeds, the Zombie Vampire, is a level 8 Exceeds, which is or a rank 8, I should say, and that is very, very good. We still play the tiers, despite the fact that we do not have Merrli. We still play the one copy of Kelbek. We took out the other shufflers. We took out the shufflers, and we do not play Agido because Agido is banned now. And, we also took out the funny FTK stuff because, it's very bricky in the deck. So, this is the most consistent iteration of this deck. Now, what are your main combos, you may ask? Well, I will simply show you, and then I will explain everything afterwards. So, what you want to do, ideally, is Zeamin. Zeamin is your bread and your butter, and we also have Tearlaments Scream here, which makes things dramatically easier for us. So we are going to start by sending Foxy Tune, and since we also opened White Baking, we're going to go ahead and send that special out our Zeamin. And at this place, White Baking is going to trigger, which, is going to... We're going to pretend we don't have White Prince in our hand, just for fun. And we are going to add White Mare and White Prince as the standard combo. Now, White Prince will trigger. And the reason I am trying to pretend that we don't have certain cards in our hand is because I want to show you, the guaranteed stuff, right? I want to show you the guaranteed stuff we get. So at this point, you have your 3 vanillas out of your deck, which is pretty useful, right? We could get an additional one out, but we're gonna just go ahead and, do our Punk line. We're gonna add Sharakusai. Now, most Punk engines either are smaller than this, or they play 2 copies of Sharakusai. I only play 1. Our main goal here is the rank 8, and that's what we're going to go for. So we're going to go Tribute, or Fusion with Sharakusai and the Zeamin on our board. Get our Rising Carp out. Zeamin can trigger to give the Carp attack. We really do not care about that effect. Carp's going to Tribute. We're going to get Wagon. And we are also going to get Dear Note. Because, we do like to get additional pluses. So we are going to now pay 6, get it twisted, add Extreme Session. We are then, after that, we are going to Synchro Summon. Now, you could make Ruler here. You could, right? But why? Why would you do that when you can go +3? So we're going to Synchro for a Jam Dragon Drive. And Jam Dragon Drive effect will trigger, and Dear Note will also trigger to chain block that. We're going to pay 6, which means we're going to get to draw another card, and Dear Note's going to special summon Rising Carp. It's very important that you summon Rising Carp and not Foxy Tune, because Foxy Tune is a light that you can banish off of Chaos Ruler later. Alright, so we're going to summon back our Carp. We're going to Dragon Drive add Madame Spider to our hand. And then, on a new chain, we're going to get to draw a card off of our Extreme Session. We draw into Foolish Burial. That's pretty good. Now we are going to Extreme Session, banish literally anything that isn't Foxy Tune from our graveyard. Because we are not playing the Jam Dragon, or not the Amazing Dragon. We're not playing the level 11 Punk. We are not playing that. And then we're going to pay 6, and then we are going to add a trap card that says Negate on it, which is pretty fun. So then we are going to draw another card, because Punk is a very balanced deck. And at this point, we have gone +5. Now, we can continue popping off, and I think that's a good idea. So let's go ahead and make the Zombie Vampire with our 2 level 8 monsters. And we are going to detach either one. It literally does not matter anymore. Mill 5, Feel Alive. Oh god, these mills! They're crazy. We're gonna get a free special summon of a Unizombie, and we are going to trigger our Tearlaments. So, let's go ahead and just trigger Happiness. And we're gonna just fuse for Kit using the graveyard. Because, you know, having Sheeran in hand is nice. The mills were insane. Okay, so now we can also scream. So we are going to go Kit Kalos Chainlink 2. Now in ranked, you do not Kit Kalos Chainlink 2. But here, since I know my opponent isn't on a hand trapped, I will Kit Kalos Chainlink 2. I am going to add this Havness to my hand because I already have a Sheeran. If you did not have Havness, you would mill Sheeran. We already resolved all of these cards. We do not have, surprisingly, we do not have a Mizuki in our graveyard. Let us fix that, shall we? So we're going to start by sending a Mizuki to our graveyard, increasing the level of our Unizombie by sending a Mizuki. And at this point, there's a couple of things we can do. So, you know, we're going to go ahead, White Prince, banishing a Skull Servant and another Vanilla from our graveyard, being, you know, the Queen. Now we're going to make Cupid Pitch, because we can't. We're going to just make Cupid Pitch. Now, usually you don't want to make Cupid Pitch until later into the combo, because you don't know what's guaranteed or not yet. That being said, I know that I have access to Ruler because I can just go Sheeran effect. And then I can also just, you know, summon the Mizuki from the grave, or banish the Mizuki and summon from grave. But in this case, I happen to have access to Sheeran. And I can also, if I really wanted to, you know, do the guaranteed line of this, target itself, discard White Prince, White Prince effect, mill 2 additional cards. I believe this White Prince was in our opening hand. And a lot of the time, yes, this deck is react to your opening hand. So, you know, this is still valid, I would say. But, you know, just for posterity's sake, right? We make the Ruler. Now, at this point, we have more than everything we need. Our hand is disgusting, as you can see. We have Sheeran, we have the Havness, we have another Zayamin. We're going to mill a Deer Note, which doesn't really matter. We hit White Mare, which is pretty solid, and we're going to mill Crime. So we hit White Mare, which is fine. Now we can go effective White Prince to banish to special from deck again. We can also Kit Kalos to get an additional summon. We can go Sheeran, like... do we have a Rhino in here? We do not have a Rhino in here. Interesting. Do we want to Foolish a Rhino? We could. Let's go ahead. Kit Kalos effect summon herself. Or, not summon herself. You know what? Let's Foolish for Rhino. Why not? Foolish Rhino. We don't even need to use his effect here. We could, but we don't need to. Because we can just do it with Kit Kalos instead. So we're going to Kit Kalos. Now we're going to summon the Rhino. And Kit Kalos is going to mill 5, and Rhino is going to send a card. We're going to put Rhino first, because let's just see what Kit Kalos mills first. And honestly, yeah, you guys can see this hand is pretty absurd. We're going to mill another Rhino. Let's go ahead and send... I resolved Havness, right? Havness is the one I've resolved? Yeah, I've resolved Havness, so I will send the Sheeran. And then we are going to go, no effective Rhino, because we don't need to. Actually, you know, we could. We could just do it. No, we don't need to. We're not going to. But we are going to definitely use the Sheeran and also the Kelbek. We have Rolk in. We have access to Rolk, but we are not going to make Rolk. We are going to simply, instead of making Rolk, we are going to make Kaleido. Because Kaleido is really good when you have Scream on the board. In fact, if you have Scream on the board, I would argue that you always make Kaleido. Let's use only our graveyard because we are extremely greedy. And then we're going to summon a Kaleido. DJ Kaleido, chat. And it's important to keep an eye on your graveyard. We hit Soliak, we don't even need to activate this. We are going to though, just to get an additional +1. You know, our board looking kind of full, isn't it? let's go ahead and make a hot RDA to just get our board a little bit more space. Yeah, that seems like a good idea to me. Cupid Pitch, gonna burn our opponent for 9, add a Nemesis Corridor, which we're gonna turn into a Colossus. We can also do things like, you know, resummon the Ruler, make IP. We can go Mizuki Effect, summon back from grave. Like, we can do a lot of stuff here. As you can see, we've gone plus so much. We've plussed so hard. This is a very powerful deck. Let's actually use White Prince Effect, because we have a White Mare in our hand, and we do like to, you know, get free summons for free. So we're going to summon this, and at this point, we actually need to make IP for 4 board space, if you can believe that. We have to make IP to give ourselves more space on the board. Now we're going to White Mare, summon back our Lady in White that we just banished. We can make 3 negates Appaloosa here. We could also make 4 negates Appaloosa. There's really not much reason not to, especially considering how, you know, loaded our graveyard is. We do have also access to make a Baron here, which I think is probably better at this point in time. So we are going to go Baron first. We are going to banish Mizuki, summon back this Unizombie. We're going to Synchro for Baron. We're going to Sync for Baron. We are going to go activate Ruler to get an additional body. So we're going to go activate Ruler, banish a light and a dark. All of these lights do not matter in our grave. The Zombie Vampire is not going to do anything in our graveyard for us, so we are going to banish that. We are going to now summon back the Ruler. Ruler is going to end up getting banished after this, which is very, very sad, but it's okay. We're going to go Special Sheeran. We're going to Special itself, send literally any card that doesn't matter from our hand. We will do our Zayamin Punk here. We are going to now summon an Appaloosa with 3 negates. We are going to make Nemesis Corridor, put back our Ruler, because we can just use him again. We're going to make Colossus. We're going to set Punk Dangerous Gabu, and we are going to also have access to a Mizuki that will summon back a King of the Skull Servants with a lot of attack. In fact, you know what, for fun, why not just summon him back? Summon him back. And we also have a Havness. We should probably leave our board empty for Havness, but, you know, for fun's sake, you know, the correct play is do not summon this. You just end with the board we had before. What this is 2 Omni Negates, 3 Negates Appaloosa, Kaleido with a Sulliet, or with Scream, which means a shuffle during our opponent's turn more often than not, Havness in hand, and they also cannot search. We also have an additional monster negate set with Punk Dangerous Gabu off of our Punk engine. Pretty strong, I would say, right? I really like how the Skull Servants, you know, facilitate, that's not a word. Facilitate a lot of this very, very powerful stuff. So let's go ahead and look at the deck list, and I will give you some explanations as to everything, shall we? But yeah, this is, as you can see, pretty strong board. Omni Negate, shuffle during our opponent's turn, 3 negates Appaloosa, search, and realistically this guy shouldn't be here, but if we were trying to kill our opponent, we have access to a Mizuki in our graveyard that summons a 9k beater. And we also have an additional monster negate. Pretty much off of, you know, 1.5 cards. So, let's go ahead, scoop this up, and I will show you guys our new deck list. This is active ban list of the month of September. The deck is literally called September Skulls. And yeah, let me show you guys what we are working with here and give you some explanations. So, the dangers are back out of the deck. Why? Because we don't really need them. And we also, okay, so our Skull Servant ratio is the minimum amount possible of Skull Servants and Lady White. If you aren't playing 2, you brick the entire engine when you draw one of them. It's awful. You do need to play 2 of each. You play your 3 king because it is a free extender from the deck when you send off a white prince, and in addition to that, it is a huge beater, which is very, very funny. 3 white mare. This is probably the best card in the Skull Servant engine at this point, aside from white baking, which is a literal broken card, and is only at 3 because it's in a bad archetype. Yeah, so White Mare being your extender that summons a 3 from your banished zone is pretty freaking good. You do like that. You have your 3 White Prince still because, you know, milling White Prince is the nuts. You have your 3 White Baking still because the best card in the engine. I've already said that. Yeah, 2 Lady in White. You still play the max ratio of Unizombie and Solitaire because Unizombie is still always going to be that ruler that starts all of your plays. You do want your Chaos Ruler all of the time, if possible. We have cut White Princess down to 2 copies. Why? Because it doesn't really help to draw it. It doesn't help to draw it, and it doesn't really, like, it definitely doesn't help to normal summon, so we do not need 3. In fact, 2 might even be too many. But you do want it as another option to search off of your white baking. Okay, and that is the Skull Servant engine, aside from, you know, the 3 Mizuki. Obviously, you play 3 Mizuki. I don't think I need to explain that one. It's the best extender in zombies. Now, after this, we have our Punk engine, which is 3 Zeamin, 3 Foxy Tune, 2 Deer Note. If you draw Deer Note, it bricks the combo, kind of. So you definitely need to play 2, especially in a 60-card deck like this, because drawing the 1 of is absolutely atrocious. You play the 2 Itali. You play the 1 Field Spell, the 1 Gabu, because you can search both of these in the combo, as I just demonstrated. Your 1 Sharakusai. Again, most people, in pure Punk at least, play 2 of this. I play only 1 because it's kind of like, you know, not necessary that you know, end on the board with this on it. The 1 Wagon because it searches the field spell, the 1 Madam Spider because it searches the trap, and obviously your Zeamin. Your extra deck punks are just Rising Carp and just Jam Dragon Drive because that's all you need. And you simply go Zeamin, add Foxy Tune send itself, add, no, sorry, not add, special Sharakusai, fusion for Carp, and that's full combo if it resolves. So Carp tributes itself, summons Wagon, and also Deer Note. Wagon, add Field Spell, activate Field Spell, special Jam Dragon Drive, pay 6, add the Madam Spider, and at this point you have gotten all 3 of your bricks out of your deck. You know, you've also decided to draw an additional card off of the field spell because, you know, once you pay 600 for a Psychic Monster's effect, you know, this draws you a card, which is pretty good. It activates twice per turn as well, so this field spell is literally Pot of Greed. After that, you know, you have your Jam Dragon Drive, and Deer Note will trigger when you synchro off with it to summon back the Rising Carp, which gives you a rank 8 on the board with Jam Dragon Drive and Carp. And then the field spell banishes literally anything that isn't named Foxy Tune from your graveyard. Special the Madam Spider from hand. Effect Madam Spider, pay 6, add a negate, draw a card, as you guys all just saw. And at that point, you make the Zombie Vampire for free, off of just 1 card. And then, you know, since you've milled cards and you've drawn cards, surely you have drawn into an extender since this deck is heavy on the extension. Also, an additional little synergy is the fact that Foxy Tune sends a card from your hand along with itself to get the special summon. Very nice stuff. Because, you know, you play so many cards that you want to get in the graveyard that if you draw a brick, you can put it in the graveyard with Foxy Tune. You really like that. E-Telly being full combo without using your normal summon is actually absurd. So obviously you're going to play that. And yeah, that is the Punk engine in a shell nut. Next up, we have the Tear engine. Now, the Tear engine, big surprise, is still here. It is still extremely good for milling cards. It is still extremely good for making recursion and just solid boards. So of course, you're still going to play it even without Merrli, which gives us 3 additional mills. Now our main goal, perhaps, is to summon back a Rhino Heart off of our Kit Kolos to send a card instead of just summoning a Merrli. We do lose 1 fusion per turn, but that's okay because we really only need to end on the Kaleido Heart. We don't really need to end on Roll Kolos, because when our opponent summons a card and we have Scream and Kaleido and we add a Havness in our combo, you know, when they summon a card, we're milling some cards, and then we're going to get a shuffle, and if we hit an active fusion, guess what's happening? We're making Kit Kolos again during our opponent's turn. Kit Kolos is going to send the other tier name, and we are going to then fusion for Rolk during our opponent's turn anyway. So they still have to play through the shuffle, and we're going to have the summon negate as well, more likely than not. And yeah, it's still very, very good as is. You know, even with the 2 Havness, the 2 Shiren, you still play the field spell. You play the maximum monster ratio, obviously. We don't play any of the fusion replacement cards. We do not play Rainbow Bridge either. It's not required that we draw any of these cards. We would prefer to mill them anyway. And then beyond that, you play 2 Scream. You would play 3 if you had room in the deck. You still play the Soliek because it's Rhoda, and then you play 1 copy of Crime now in case you, you know, you mill a Scream and you have access to Soliek, or you've milled Soliek. Crime is just a very, very strong negate in addition to all of our stuff. It gives us more stuff to play. And drawing it's not even that bad, to be honest, because you're gonna get access to your tier cards about 90% of the time in this deck. And that is the tier engine. Obviously, you still play 1 of each extra deck. That's all you need. And beyond that, we have the additional flex cards. We still play the 1 miller. We do not play the shufflers anymore. The shufflers are not worth playing unless you are reliably milling. Now, this deck obviously reliably mills. However, drawing the shufflers is more often than not bad for this deck. So, since you don't want to draw the shufflers, we don't play the shufflers. Drawing a miller is okay because we can send it off of Foxy Tune. You know, because sending a miller off of Foxy Tune mills 5 additional cards. We like milling additional cards, don't we? So yeah, that's very, very good stuff. We do still play Kelbek. It's just the best one. So, yeah. And beyond that, we play our flex cards of 2 copies of Nemesis Corridor, because Cupid Pitch into Colossus is still something that exists in this deck. Why wouldn't you make a free Colossus while making an Omni Negate off of your ruler? I don't understand why you wouldn't do that. We play 2 specifically for if we mill 1, we are no longer playing the shufflers. So, you know, we need to not mill both. However, there is a bonus synergy in this deck that if you make Cupid Pitch, and you haven't normal summoned by some miracle, Cupid Pitch can also add Zeamin. And it can also add all of the Punk main deck monsters. So you're not entirely reliant on keeping Corridor in the deck for the engine to be live, which is pretty useful. Beyond that, you have card destruction, dump hand, get new hand. Graveyard deck, you typically want to do that. Also, this is a fantastic card for forcing your opponent to use Ash Blossom. Foolish Burial searches for any card in this deck. It's literally the best card. Well, aside from Grass, but Grass is Saki, so, you know. It is the best reliable searcher in the entirety of the deck. Obviously, you're going to play Foolish Burial. You still play Grass. Sure, you play 1 copy. You know, it's not even that good at 1, but you still play it because if you draw it, it's the nuts. And your opponent has to do something about it, or they lose on the spot. Perlerino, I mean, it's part of the tier engine. You still play it. It's Rhoda for tiers. It's really good. Field Spell for Punk, we search it. 2 Scream, you know, like I said, you would play 3 if you had room for 3. 2 Itelli, because Zeamin being 1 card combo is pretty nuts. 1 Gabu, 1 Crime, and 1 Soliek. Let's get into our extra deck ratios and why I have you know, I have an explanation for why of each. So, Kit Kalos, right? Rolk, Kaleido. We have Tears in our deck. We are going to play the Tears. It's simple as that, right? Colossus. Why would we not make a free floodgate off of resolving Cupid Pitch? Carp, you need it, okay? So all of our fusions are required. You absolutely need every single one. Cupid Pitch, you guys know the standard Skull Servant combo by now of, you know, normal uni, send either White Baking or Mizuki, send the other one, you know, make our ruler, leave the thing on the board, resummon it back, or resummon the Unizombie off of Mizuki, make Cupid Pitch becomes a 1, Synchro for a 9, add Corridor, and make Colossus, right? It's simple, right? So you still play Cupid Pitch. The Punks being level 3 tuners as well makes this card even better. Even better. Because you play so many ones that you can summon for free. Like, this card in this deck is actually just... It's chef's kiss. It's perfect. Ruler. Do I need to explain Ruler? Do I need to? This card is broken. It is banned in the TCG. When you Synchro Summon Excavate 5, add a light or dark that you excavated, mill the rest. Hello? This card does everything in this deck. It does literally whatever you want it to do. It is a free body as well from the graveyard to make additional, you know, link climbing plays or additional synchro climbing plays. Hello? Yeah, of course you're going to play this. Jam Dragon Drive, I already explained. It's part of our Punk combo that draws 2 cards and makes a negate, and also a zombie vampire for free. Pretty good. You still play it. You gotta play it. Again, Hot RDA, it is the best 9 that we can make. It makes an Omni negate, which is pretty good. That being said, you do have to make this with Ruler, but you're gonna get to Ruler and you're gonna get to Cupid Pitch more often than not. Baron, this is officially a card that is needed in this deck. This is officially a card that you always play. You are going to make this card all the time now. It happens so frequently. And then our level 11 Synchro for when things get a little dicey is going to be a Psychic and Punisher. Big unaffected guy, more often than not. You can still make him going first. It's not nearly as good going first. You do not want to make him going first. But if you have no other real play, like somehow you end up stuck with a Unizombie and a Chaos Ruler on your board, and you have no access to things like Baron, well, you can still make Pep with Unizombie and Chaos Ruler to give yourself a big unaffected body that your opponent also has to deal with. Our Exceeds lineup, the Zombie Vampire. That's it. We don't play any other ones. We can't play any other ones. There's no space. There's barely space for what we have as is. And there are cards that I would like to play that I have had to just cut because we can't. IP, best Link monster in the game. You cannot convince me otherwise. Apollousa, we still make Apollousa. It still makes multiple negates. It's a good card. Why wouldn't you make it? And then finally, Goddess to out things like Expertly Noir and, you know, other things that we can't quite deal with very easily. That being said, yeah, Goddess is our main out to everything that says the word unaffected on it, aside from attacking over it with King of the Skull Servants. So, yeah. If we don't have a line for King of the Skull Servants by some miracle, we still make Goddess to Goddess our opponent. And yeah. How do I feel about this deck? I honestly feel like the deck has managed to get even more powerful than the last time I made this deck. And the last time I made this deck, it was a literal FTK. So the fact that this deck has gotten even better should really tell you guys that, that there's so many broken things that you can do in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. And, yeah, honestly, this deck, very, very fun. Highly recommended. I know my account right now is in Rookie. I have been playing on an alternate account. I've been playing Adamanticators and stuff. I've been having a lot of fun, and then they banned Block Dragon, and now I am a Merrli player. So, yeah. But that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this video of the Skull Servants, and, you know, a little bit of a demonstration of what the deck does now. The deck can do boards like that very, very frequently. It's above 80% that chance that you get a board like that. So I hope you all enjoyed today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one. And I will catch you all later. Peace out.